What do you guys think? Should I hang this guy up? We could hang him up in the corner of the stream here. Get him on like a... That's a little weird, huh? We'll figure something out. Okay, so today I'm hoping I want to fix the side collision on our ostrich and our vulture. We got it real messed up trying to add certain things like detecting side collision upon here. Like, let's see what happens when it collides with us. What does it do? Just gets so messed up, at least coming from that angle. It's hard to know what I did last to know where to even start with this, but I guess let's just look at our ostrich collision functions with enemy here. So we have a collides enemy function. You know what? Fuck. I'm thinking I should call this enemy collides, not collides enemy, just to stay consistent, but shouldn't matter too much. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like we're just doing, oh, this divide by 2. I'm gonna take this divide by 2 out. This divided by 2 was supposed to be our kind of side collision logic. So I'm taking that divide by 2 out. So I guess right now, yeah, these two would be the same. This is just enemy collides. I think we're gonna take this out. I think we're gonna take the side collides out. I'm just gonna say, shit, and you know what? This is the same shit up here, huh? Yeah. This is the same exact function. So we've already got this function. Without the divided by 2, it's just this collides enemy, which let's just change that. Enemy collides, which we change it here. That means we need to also change it everywhere else we put it, which is here. I want to do a find and replace. Come on. Here we go. Find and replace collides enemy with enemy collides. Want to find them first? No. There's only one? Fuck. There's only one. Fuck. Enemies. Enemy collides. And then I've got this shit. Now, there was a line of code last episode I cut and then was going to paste somewhere, but then accidentally copied instead of pasted, and then it overwrote my clipboard. So I lost a chunk of code that used to be in here. But I have that chunk kind of screenshotted so I can see what was in there. And it looks like I have, if ostrich enemy left collides, then set a negative, or then swap its dx and set its x position. So that's exactly what we're doing. It's the dx update and the x reset upon not a side collision anymore. We're doing just a true collision. But that's okay. Here's the next thing. Let's put the real function here first. Enemy collides. See, and this is why the consistency helps. Enemy collides. That's our function. Now, that's probably why nothing was happening. It was getting overridden. Or okay. I want to see if our ostrich facing right has to do with our dx, or like do we change our dx based on our facing direction? It's more like we change our facing direction upon having different dx. But I'm trying to see if we can just say, instead of, because before we were doing it, we were trying to implement it where we had detecting whether or not the vulture collided with the right side of the ostrich or the left side of the ostrich, and then to do things based on that. But now what I'm thinking, because we kept running into problems trying to implement that, we just still have the one function for collision detection, and it's the true AABB collision, and then it's let me think. So the new way we're trying to do it is we detect any collision, and then we see which direction we're facing, and this is how we're going to swap our dx. So we're saying, like, if we're facing right and there's a collision, then you know what? Swap our dx, face us the other way, reset our x position. And we know, shoot, do we know that? Do we know if we're facing a direction and we collide, if something happens? It's hard. Because we need, if we collide and we're faced at the same direction, shoot, man, I need to write this out. Here, I want to make this bigger. And I'm gonna maybe zoom in. No, maybe I'll just make this huge. Okay, 240s may be too huge, but if we say this is just to figure out vulture dx and vulture x, right? We're trying to figure out how those things are affected by a collision based on our ostrich. So if we're there's a lot of different collisions we can happen that we want different things to. Okay, so let's say this. So like option one, we not option one, but scenario one, we collide and then equal wise, meaning no lance is higher. So it would reverse dx and maybe facing right, but we won't put that in here just yet. Then we can collide where we're on the ground and the vulture y is greater, therefore a collision meaning highest joust wins, that means we would deinstantiate, so player 1 gets... We would update our player 1.lives, but it would be like -1 live. And then instantiate a new player, right? And we can also collide and have our vultures Y be smaller than us, in which case vulture gets into an egg. Okay. Now we can also, the thing where I'm getting confused at is I'm trying to say, hey, can we determine what to update our DX to based on the Boolean value that is assigned to our DX. So if our DX is positive, we're facing right. It's false if we're moving left. No, facing left. Yeah, that's the Boolean. And then right now we have it where if our DX is swapped, if our DX is positive, we're facing right. If our DX is negative, we're facing left. So if in the code I do something to swap our DX upon collision, it should face us the other direction. Because at least for our player ostrich instantiation, I'm not exactly sure how we implemented our vulture, but I'm curious if we do a facing right based on the DX, and we do the same thing. Okay. So there's another thing to think about, and that's in the air, and we collide. But the only, I don't think anything's different than that, because if we're equal in the air, we would swap our DXs. But we also need reset X, not only for us, but for the vulture as well. So as long as we make sure we set the appropriate DX, we should be okay. Because the Y collision detection is going to be easy. The Y checking, rather, to see which one's higher. And then we just have to worry about assigning the right DX, and then our direction should be fixed as long as we set our position appropriately after collision detection, so it doesn't get triggered again frame after frame. So, gosh, it's like I just typed it up and I need to look at my notes already. Let's work on this one. We just say, hey, if we're colliding, check if our Y's are equal. If our Y's are equal, we know we're the same height, that we know we don't need to decrement our life or remove a player from our table, and we don't need to change into an egg, which we don't even have an egg class yet, which I think we're going to do a class for that, because there could and will be more than one egg on screen at one time. Okay. So we're just going to work on this. If self collides with vulture in our vulture table, compare the Y positions. If they're equal, reverse our DX and reset our position. Okay, so here's the question. Here's the big question. We need to reset our position to two different sides based on which side it collided on, right? This is why we had to do the left collision and right collision last episode. But if we collide, and like, I guess I'm asking if the direction of us and the collision has any consistent result on moving our position. So it's like we need to reset our vulture to be, left flush. Fuck, how do we say this? Fuck. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to, because we don't want to always reset it to the same position. We want to see, hey, is this a left collision or a right collision, basically. Which I had this note that we implemented last time, but it didn't work, where we were saying if the right side of our object is smaller than the x of the other object plus its width. So it was on the left side, and then the right side, yeah. That code wasn't working for us last episode though. So I was trying to think if we could assign our dx based on our player's facing position. For example, if an ostrich is facing right and a vulture's facing left, if they collide, our dx should change. Shoot, well, I forget that our facing right boolean is assigned to our dx basically, so that's going to overwrite whatever we try to do here, but it's like, it doesn't make much sense to try to figure it out that way. So we do have to figure out how to reset for two different positions. One if there's a left side collision, one if there's a right side collision. I don't think we'll do the function for that. I think we'll just check some values and see. Yeah, because if there's a collision, shoot. I don't know the best way of doing this. Well, no, we can figure this out. Yeah, we can figure this out. So let us see our current ostrich thing. Okay. So this isn't right. We need to say, the condition here needs to be, this is if we collide. Oh, yeah, we've got it up here. If our y's are equal, then if we're colliding, see, we're already colliding here, so this doesn't make any sense. We would just say, and this is, let me comment this out because this is just kind of in the way right now. This is the same shit. I'm trying to, my notes down here are like reset its x, reverse objects dx. But it's tricky because depending on which side they're colliding on, we reset our x position differently. So what's the difference between a left and right side collision? It's that our x would be, shit. Fuck, how do I think of this? If it's a left side collision, then our rightmost side will be colliding. So how do we say, like, whatever we're colliding, like let's say if we're since we're writing this function for the perspective of the ostrich from the player in the ostrich class, we can say check the thing that is currently being collided with and check its rightmost side. No, that doesn't quite work. we want to check the 2D grid is screwing with me. I don't know how to detect a left or right side collision. I mean, I thought it was as simple as comparing the X positions, because it can only be a left side collision if it's current. How do we say this? Fuck. I don't know how to even say this, man. It's a collision with the left side of our player, not. Fuck. Yeah, I really do need to set up 2 collisions. Don't I? I don't know how to do it otherwise. That's what we tried last episode. It just didn't work. Maybe we try it again. We've got the true collision, so now if we turn back our side collision bits, or not our side, and the thing is, if we've got the math right, hold on. For the formula here, I have that if it would be a left collision if our vulture's X plus its width, the right side of our vulture, would be smaller than smaller than the middle of our character. That should work. I'm curious why it didn't work last episode, but maybe we just weren't setting the X positions correct. So let's see here. Look, we have this. Let's see, this is redundant here. We don't need... Here, let me comment this out real quick. Okay. Everything's okay here. Okay. So, we're going to give ourselves 2 functions. One called, well, I mean, they're both for our ostrich class, and the function's called enemy left collides. Okay. Takes in a parameter of enemy name type, whatever you want to call it. And since we're only asking this once we know a collision is detected, we are being redundant checking any of that. But we do need to check our vulture's X position and say if we want to see if the right side of our vulture that's the right side of our vulture. We want to see if that value is greater than our current ostrich's X. No, we want to see if it's less than, because this is for the left side collision, left collides. It'll be, because we want this function to be false if it's, actually, hold on. No, the left side of the collision would change. Fuck. Yeah, okay. So the left side isn't really... Because you can kind of hop on each other and still kill with a left side collision. So as long as your X is 1 pixel to the left, as long as your Y is higher, you're going to get that collision and you're going to get that priority. So we need to check the player's X. No, we need to check the right side of our player's... No, we need to check the right side of our vulture's side, the right side of the vulture. Make sure that is smaller than the right side of our ostrich. And if it is self.x plus self.width, and if it is, return true, meaning this function would just return true. And then, so yeah, we're seeing if the enemy, the right side of our enemy is to the left of our ostrich, because that would be a left collision. And then we want to say otherwise false, because there can only be a left collide or a right collide. This gets us away with having to do those two functions that was giving us problems last episode. So now we can say if ostrich enemy left collides, so in our update loop down here, we can say right here, you know, this is where we had it. We can say if this is already, we're already colliding with vulture, so now we just need to say if self dot enemy left collides with our current vulture in this iterated list, we would say if that's true, then we would want to do something. We would want to add left collision logic. Otherwise, we need to do right collide logic. So what happens when we enemy collide left? That means we need to set our vulture. First thing we need to do, this would be our y's are equal. So we would just reverse our ostrich's dx. I think, so this is a little confusing because if we left collide with the vulture, that means the vulture's on our left, and if we're walking left, that would turn our dx positive. But if we're walking right and a left collide happens with the ostrich, they should actually kill us because they're hitting our butt with a joust. Is that right? Like if I just face away from a vulture, do they kill my butt with a joust? Fuck. Okay. You better joust me in the butt. They do. So yeah, it depends on which direction you're facing. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that. I guess he was higher, right? He had a higher lance, so I guess that's totally right. Okay, so we need to check facing direction. So yeah, we need to check if they're just not equal. They're not facing the same direction. So like, do we say self dot facing right and self dot facing right? And then if not, how do we do that? How do we do that? Like I want to say we would be getting the left if that worked right. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, we need to, fuck. Sorry guys, this is confusing. Then this, okay, whatever. Like we're gonna put another if block here, and this will be the so silly. I don't know what to put for this, but I'm saying like, hey, if self dot facing right and not vulture dot facing right, meaning they're facing different directions, or so we're going to say, hey, if they're facing the same, if they're facing opposite directions here, or if they're facing the opposite directions, like they're swapped. And I don't know a better way of doing this off the top of my head. I know there's probably an answer right in my face, but now we're saying if we do either of those things, as long as facing right and self, like maybe we can just do a comparative thing because these are going to be true. So if these are both collectively, hold on, I think we can take this out. I think we can say if self dot facing right and vulture dot facing right, this would evaluate to true, meaning we can do one thing. And then otherwise, and that depends if they're both facing right, two different things need to happen depending on their x positions, so it doesn't really help us. I kind of want to say that we need to say our same way before, where we say if this or opposite. We would be, or if we're not facing right and we are facing right, according to our vulture, then we would say, fuck, we still need to, oh God, this is awful. How do we do this? We know we've got a left collide, so what do we need to do? We need to swap our dx. And if we swap our dx, we don't need to, we need to swap our dx if we're facing different directions. So it's that our dx needs to be multiplied by -1, right? We need to swap it. Swap it meaning negative or positive. So we'll say -1 times dx. No, we'll say gets dx times -1. And then we need to place not our self, but our vulture x to be equal to, well, we need to swap our vulture dx too. So our vulture dx gets the same thing, current dx times -1, swapping it. Then we say vulture x gets placed just outside of our, it would be our self x shifted by a vulture dot width, the left side of our ostrich currently. That's just if left collides is true. And we're facing different directions. So like we'd be facing each other and it would come at us from the left. And on 286. Shit. We're missing a end somewhere. And I don't know where. Here. No. Yeah, we just don't have anything for this yet. Okay, we're looking for a left collision when I'm facing left. Yep, and it reset its dx, and it probably reset my dx. We need to check. We need to do that again, and we need to give us a dx so we can see if it swaps our dx as well. Yep, it bounced us, swapped both of our dx's for the left collision, so that's looking right. So now we can say all this is not right. We can say else, right collogic end, and our right collide when facing different directions is the same thing in terms of dx, but different things in terms of x. So I think we need to do this same thing. We need to check, make sure we're facing different directions, and then so we'll say if we're facing different directions, then if we're facing different directions, we need to swap our vulture's dx and our dx. We need to do the same thing except replace, what the heck? Oh God, what just happened? What did I just do? Okay, whatever. I don't know why. It looks like I changed my font size. We need to do the same thing to both us and the vulture, except, what the heck? Hold on, sorry. Here, I need to put it right here. So otherwise, we're facing different directions. We would swap our dx, assign our appropriate x position, okay. Yeah, we need to assign our appropriate x position, which is going to be the right side of our ostrich. So ostrich is x, ostrich is width. Let's see what that gets us. I'm hoping either direction we collide with, it'll just reverse it and send it back. See, that worked. Facing right didn't work. Facing right didn't work. You know what? We made some progress. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. I think we just need to debug this function more, make sure it's working as expected, and then we can get this to work. But you know, we've got the left side working fine. The right is just getting lost in translation, but we'll be able to fix this not too long. Because I also need to check if each ostrich is being... See, look, that worked fine. That looks like crap. Okay, well... We'll figure it out. It's just difficult. Keep going. Thanks for watching.